An historic steam engine weighing over 90 tons.
Britannia is a really big loco, one of the biggest steam engines that run on the network.
Can a team haul this precious antique 70 miles cross-country to return it to the rails?
Terribly cruel on them tyres, this is, I tell you.
A super-long metro train that's been re-engineered for the 21st century.
The Class 230 is pretty unique. It's the only battery train in the country.
You got to go, Gav.
Let's ride.
Can this crew transport this super-sized load through rugged rural roads in time for its first scheduled departure?
Very bad, man.
The teams must battle tight turns,
Just spinning in the back of the trailer on the spot.
treacherous traffic,
He's moved, made it 10 times worse.
and heavy metal. To deliver these enormous engines on time.
Go on, mate, go on, you're all good.
A titanic task, even for the world's toughest train truckers. Crewe, a great British railway town in the north of England. In its heyday in the 1930s, Crewe's railway works employed 20,000 people who designed and constructed more than 7,000 steam engines. Today, in the heart of the town, sits LNWR Heritage. This is a specialist restoration workshop where historic locomotives are repaired and refurbished. Ian Walker is the chief engineer.
Steam locomotives were abandoned because they were labour-intensive, in some respects unreliable, so we just muck in and get them fixed.
Among the many prestigious engines undergoing work here is a steam-powered superstar. This is Britannia.
You know, Britannia is one of the iconic steam engines.
Britannia is one of those Premier League locomotives. It's up there with your Flying Scotsmans and your Tornadoes.
Built in Crewe in 1951, Britannia was the very first engine made by the newly formed British Rail.
Britannia's the first of its class. There's quite a lot of experimental kit on it. She is the latest technology in terms of steam development.
55 Britannia-class locomotives were built to haul both passengers and freight at speed around Britain. But today, just 2 examples survive. Ian's team has devoted the last 2 years to painstakingly restoring Britannia. This will allow it to return to the tracks for another 10 years of service. LNWR Heritage was founded by pop producer and railway enthusiast Pete Waterman in 1988.
The engine you see now, well, you can't imagine how much work's gone into it from what it was like when I purchased it. It's probably now better than the day it was made.
The restored locomotive is believed to be worth £2 million. It's set to roll again on the Severn Valley Railway in Kidderminster.
We'll accumulate a total of around about 1,000 miles before we go for a test run on the national network.
But just one thing stands between the 94-ton locomotive and the Severn Valley Railway: 70 miles of winding road. 75 miles south is a company that devises unique solutions to problems like this.
Let's heavy-haulage.
Allalees is a family-run firm that specialises in transporting heavyweight railway locomotives, old and new.
We started initially just standard trucks and grown over the years.
They have 10 dedicated heavy haulage crews that operate an arsenal of innovative trucks and machinery to haul train engines and carriages around the world.
So that is Britannia Loco and Tender. Pick up at Crewe at your site and running down to Severn Valley at Kidderminster.
Britannia weighs in at 94 tons and is 21 metres long. That's twice the length of a double-decker bus and 7 times heavier.
Britannia is a really big loco. She's one of the biggest locos that run on the network.
Hauling this Goliath to Kidderminster will be an epic engineering endeavour. The team needs to make sure that they select the optimum route, the best trucks, and the most resilient crew for this job. It's the day of the big move. Britannia is finally ready for its epic road journey.
Is it one wagon or two?
It'll be two, won't it? If they're reversing, they'll be right way around, won't they?
Squeezing their way down the narrow entrance road. A combined 1,200 brake horsepower of locomotive hauling hardware. Terry Savory heads up today's move. Terry has 28 years train moving experience, making him Allalee's most skilled driver.
Guys, you've got 1.5 foot on the near side, mate.
Yeah, we might just sneak past it at that, I think. Go on. Yeah, you should just sneak past it, mate.
Support driver Jason Priest lends Terry a hand.
We're going to get wet, I think, today.
The crew has just 12 hours to deliver Britannia to its destination. Once Britannia is loaded, Terry's team need to navigate the engine 70 miles from Crewe to the Severn Valley Railway. The most direct route takes them over an elevated section of road, which has weight restrictions. So the team need to take a much more complicated route that cuts straight through Wolverhampton. To make this challenge even more difficult, heavy loads drivers like Terry can only be on the road for 9 hours a day.
We've got to get it off tonight. The problem you got is Wolverhampton. You can't really go through in rush hour.
Terry's already used up 2 of his driving hours getting here, so he needs to crack on. But one thing's missing.
Right, we'll go and find out where the loco is.
Team Britannia are still making some final tweaks.
Have you got that spanner? Just put the normal nut at the back or something.
First task, Ian's right-hand man Ben needs to move Britannia and its tender to the opposite side of the workshop.
We can't start putting their ramp down until the loco's gone past us. They have to then separate the tender from the loco, and then we can go on, put our ramp down, and then winch it on. And unfortunately, it's going to be a delay of I don't know how long.
Right, let's do it.
Ben calls in a diesel shunter to haul Britannia into position for Terry. This will be the precious engine's longest run in over 2 years. So they need to take it nice and slow.
It's mainly because it's all new. You can hear things starting to bind, so perhaps you can ease things if you have to.
Like any 68-year-old, Britannia has a few creaking joints, but so far, so good. It's now gone 12.
One loco. We just need them now to split it, and then we can start loading it.
With Britannia finally in position, Terry and his team face their next big challenge. They need to load the 94-ton engine onto the truck. To do this, Terry's crew must build a ramp from the back of the trailer down to the rails and reinforce it with heavy blocks of wood. To haul Britannia onto the trailer, they need to hook it up to winch cables. These will safely pull the engine up onto the trailer. Terry's team want to beat the traffic and reach their destination before nightfall.
2 now.
They're ready to load the locomotive, but the locomotive isn't ready for them.
Just trying to get these final little bits done before it disappears.
At the moment, they're still working on the loco, and we can't have it till they finish working on it. So I don't know why there's a delay, but there is a delay. So until they've finished whatever he's doing to it, we're sat here twiddling our thumbs.
It's 2:30. It will take Terry and his team 4 hours to move Britannia from Crewe to the Severn Valley Railway in Kidderminster. They were hoping to load and unload the Heritage heavyweight in just one day, but the delays are mounting up.
How long will it be before we can have the loco? The Britannia?
Ian's crew will have to finish their work at the Severn Valley. 2 hours behind schedule, they can finally start loading Britannia.
Hold in there, Jace! We got the weight of the loco on that.
They need to take great care winching this precious engine.
One of the problems with big steam engines is they're not designed to go onto trailers.
Britannia was built to travel along smooth, flat rails, not steep inclines. As the team winch the engine, there is a risk that its multiple fixed axles will cause the load to rise into the air and topple like a child on a seesaw. To guard against this, Terry's team has built a long, shallow ramp. This should allow them to load Britannia more smoothly.
Another metre and the last wheel will be on. Hold it there, Jace. I think we'll try it there.
It's taken 90 painstaking minutes to carefully winch Britannia and its tender up onto the trailers. Locked and loaded, they're running 2 hours behind schedule.
2 hours is the difference between doing it in 1 day and doing it in 2 days.
Next challenge, reverse the heavily loaded trucks out of the tree-lined yard and onto the road. A risky manoeuvre.
Okay, I'm bringing it over to the offside, mate, towards these railings. Yeah, I'm going to keep it tight to the near side up here. Tez, keep it out of trees, mate, all right? Go on, Tez, the worst of these branches are these first few.
Come on, Ted, keep coming.
The trees were a close shave, but Terry's team need a guiding hand to make the tight 90-degree turn onto the main road. Without rear-wheel steer, the trailer wouldn't have the space to make the turn and would end up blocking the road. But Jason can operate the rear wheels independently by remote control. This allows him to guide the trailer safely out onto the road.
Nice and steady, Tez, just coming up on the curve, mate. Go on. Go on. Terribly cruel on them tyres, this is, I tell you. Go on, mate.
They make it out. But navigating this enormous steam engine through Crewe's rush hour will be no mean feat. "80 miles south, a second team from Allalees is gearing up to undertake another very special train trucking mission. This might look like a train graveyard, but it isn't where old trains come to die. Here in Stratford-upon-Avon, engineers transform old London Underground trains to give them a new lease of life. The Class 230 is a brand new, environmentally friendly prototype train built by British startup Viva Rail. Each carriage and engine is refurbished London Underground stock.
The Class 230s are particularly green, not least because we saved all this material going to waste, but the way we've built it as well. So we've used things like automotive technology, which is much cleaner, greener, and much more far advanced than rail technology.
The Class 230 can also be configured to run as a zero-emission battery-powered train, the only one operating in the UK.
They offer the low emissions of an electric train without the cost of the infrastructure of electrifying a railway, which is a massive cost. For rural lines, it could be a game changer.
These pioneers want to launch their groundbreaking train at an event here at the Bowness and Kinneil Railway, on the Firth of Forth, Scotland. But transporting two of these nearly 19-metre-long cars by road will test the train trucking team's mettle. The crews will need to navigate the loads 422 miles from Stratford-upon-Avon to the Bowness and Kinneil Railway near Edinburgh. The most direct west coast route passes through the same section of weak elevated road that Britannia must also avoid. So the team need to take a much longer alternative route up the east coast. "10 a.m. on the day of the big move. The two units need to be in Scotland for their launch event 36 hours from now. In charge of this trucking mission is Gav Josephs. In his 8 years on the job, Gav has moved over 500 trains.
It's hard work, a lot of lifting and humping about.
First challenge, shunt the train into position so he can load its two cars onto a truck.
I just want the train pushed further down so we can get the truck over the top of the track. We straighten it all up then. That's the ideal way.
If the trailer is at an angle to the railway line, then the ramp won't be straight and the train could roll over and derail. So Gavin needs the train to move back, so he can line his trailer up with the rails, build the ramp, and ensure the load is smooth and trouble-free.
Well, as soon as I move it, I'll get it on the line.
This battery-powered train is a complex prototype. Starting it up calls for engineers with laptops.
Can you get it so it just rolls?
I can do that.
As the train rolls into position, Callum Broadhurst and Dave Monger arrive with another low loader to haul the second car up to Scotland.
Are you ready to go on, are you?
Yeah.
We'll get Gavin loaded. Once he's loaded, get his net back on and ramp away. And then we'll pull on the line then, and we'll get loaded. But the quickest way to do it.
Compared to a steam engine like Britannia, the Class 230 is a featherweight, but lighter trains are more likely to derail.
I'm just looking out here, just in case the points move. You see there, when she comes onto the ramp, you just want to watch it so then points don't kick out. Gav's well experienced at building ramps.
That bulldozer's a bit low on there, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
The Class 230 will run on rural lines, so engineers have fitted snowplows front and rear.
You catch it?
Unfortunately, they sit precariously close to Gav's loading ramp.
Fine. It's fine.
One car safely loaded. One more to go. In crew, Terry is struggling to steer the legendary steam engine Britannia through rush hour traffic. Jason keeps a close watch from his escort vehicle.
Let's watch that idiot in that black BMW who's come round here.
Yeah, so dear, mate. Go on. Go on.
Go on. Go on. Go on.
Nice and steady, mate.
Go on, nice and steady. Go on. Go on. Go on. Come on. Hang on, steady on. He's moving, the idiot. He's moved, made it 10 times worse.
It's 5 p.m. The original plan was to have delivered and unloaded Britannia by now. But Terry and Jason still have the 70-mile drive to the Severn Valley Railway in Kidderminster ahead of them.
I should think we'll probably be 4 hours. Now, at the moment, we've got roadworks, and anything over 9'6" has to have 2 lanes. And we're 3 metres, so we're 10 foot. So we have 2 lanes now through here, and Jason will stop the traffic or just warn the traffic that we're ahead.
It takes 3.5 hours to reach the outskirts of Wolverhampton.
6 mile, I think, from the M5. So maybe another hour and a half, maybe, we'll be in Kidderminster.
After a few close calls...
Yeah, there's a numpty here in a black Mercedes. I think second there's some sort of gap, like he's going to try and go up the curb.
Jason, Terry and Britannia finally make it to the Severn Valley.
Go on, mate, go on, you're all good.
Next challenge, reverse the huge load down the busy main road and into the railway's yard.
Go on.
But there's a problem.
Start at 10 seconds.
The batteries in Jason's radio and his steering remote control have both died.
Having problems with this big Birkin now for some reason.
The truck is stranded. Jason must work fast to move the truck and clear the road.
You got a radio there?
There's one on charge, mate.
He swaps his radio for Terry's spare.
The batteries are dead, aren't they? They're new batteries.
And grabs the backup steering control.
That's better. Go on, mate, go on. OK, mate, I need to get a bit of lock on. I'm going to move it over to the near side a little bit. It's working fine, and all of a sudden it started throwing the steering the opposite way. And then it stopped. It's always when you're in the middle of the road, you know.
It's 9:30, 3 hours later than planned. Britannia finally makes it into the yard. Terry remains responsible for the engine while it's on his truck. So tonight, he's bedding down with Britannia.
We daren't leave it here all night unattended because there are people that steal things.
Especially copper.
So it's just practice that we wouldn't leave a valuable engine unattended, even though it's locked up in a compound. So I got the short straw. We'll see you in the morning.
In Stratford-upon-Avon, Gav, Callum and Dave are gearing up to load the second all-electric Class 230 cars for their epic journey to Scotland.
Go on.
But this car's low-hanging snowplow looks set to cause them more problems. The snowplow catches on the concrete.
Hang on.
You have to keep going.
I know, yeah, I can't get it off now. Go on, keep going.
Come forward.
Take it steady.
Dave adjusts the winch. Pull too hard and the snowplow will be ripped from the train.
Yeah, nuisance they are, aren't they?
Despite the close encounter with the concrete, both cars make it onto the trucks intact.
Oh dear,
Yeah, I'll do.
oh dear.
It's time to hit the road.
Are you good to go, Gav?
Let's ride.
Beep, beep.
Drivers Callum and Gavin need to haul both nearly 19-metre-long loads 422 miles north from Stratford-upon-Avon to the Bowness and Kinneil Railway near Edinburgh. Callum's only got 7 hours of driving time left on the clock today, so this will be tight.
How far do you reckon we're going to get today?
I've got to be parked up for 9:30 tonight.
9:30.
So get up, probably near the Edinburgh Ring Road, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Dave's got his sights set on an overnight stop at a hotel that serves rare Scottish delicacies.
Have you had deep-fried Mars bar or haggis?
I've had haggis and I've had deep fat fried Mars bar, yeah. The cholesterol was through the roof.
Was it?
You've had deep fried Mars bar.
Yeah.
You probably have them every night.
Oh, I used to, yeah. And what are they called? Cadbury's cream egg.
What, deep fried?
Yeah, man.
Oh, mate.
Beautiful in batter.
Sort your life out.
Oh, we bought into it. Oh. Oh, it's going to be a long-ass drive, man.
It is. Be a full card.
150 miles into the trek, they run into heavy traffic.
Gonna start moving on to that second lane. You're pulling in front of me.
Time spent in traffic is time wasted when you're driving against the clock.
Keep her late.
This could be a long, slow crawl through the night. Just short of the Scottish border.
None of that.
Yeah, it's just a little piddly one.
Callum's hours run out.
It's 9:45. This is about as far as we're going to get tonight because our day's up. We'll take our time off and then we'll crack on again in the morning. And I'm hoping to be up there for 10 o'clock.
Sorry, Dave. Tonight's dinner will be instant noodles and sliced bread. Deep-fried Mars bars will have to wait until tomorrow. "300 miles south at the Severn Valley Railway in Kidderminster, Terry has spent the night watching over Britannia.
I slept quite well last night. I enjoyed the trains coming past every other hour, rattling the cab and waking me up.
The team face a precarious challenge this morning.
And now we start all over again.
They must guide the 94-ton engine smoothly off the trailer and back onto the railway tracks.
So we want the tender off first, and that will go down onto a straight bit of track, and then the engine will come down behind it, and then we'll join it together.
Which makes sense.
This is a precision manoeuvre that makes Britannia's chief engineer, Ian Walker, anxious.
It's kind of getting to crunch point now, so everybody's nervous. It's going to probably be mid-late morning, I expect, by the time they've unloaded both sections of the loco. The loco's here in the yard ready, the tender's just reversing up the car park as we speak.
At 40 tons, the tender is a lightweight.
Whoa! Shock it, Ted. OK, hang on.
Now, the big one, Britannia.
OK.
With 94 tons of rolling weight, it should roll straight off.
And again, Jace.
But it's not budging.
There's a little raised piece of steel that's maybe 2 millimetres higher than the trailer, and that stops the loco coming off.
Jason must use the winch to rock Britannia over the obstacle.
OK.
The engine makes it back on the rails once again.
It's all off now. That unload was textbook, perfect as it should be.
Mission complete for Terry's crew.
World champion Jenga players, aren't we?
The locomotive is back in the hands of Team Britannia.
To me.
Reunited with its tender, Britannia is almost ready to return to steam.
Today's gone very well. We're now getting ready to put a fire in and get the fire set for overnight.
Hopefully it should stay in all night, so there's just nice red embers in the morning and it's just warm the boiler through nicely. Is the aim of the game. Should be proud, hopefully.
This isn't Britannia's first visit to the Severn Valley. In 1966, steam engines were being phased out, replaced by diesel power. Just 15 years after coming into service, Britannia was consigned to the scrapyard.
Thankfully, a group of enthusiasts stepped in to buy the engine before it was scrapped, and they moved the engine to the Severn Valley Railway, where over a number of years they did restore it to working order.
Tomorrow, the team will find out if her latest overhaul has paid off, as Britannia will attempt to ride the rails once more. On the Scottish border,
Oh, hit the road.
after an overnight stop in a lay-by, Callum, Dave and Gav are gearing up for the final leg of their 422-mile journey to deliver 2 Class 230 electric cars to the Bowness and Kinneil Railway.
Here we go again. Welcome to Scotland.
The crew need to navigate the 2 super long loads 80 miles to the Bowness and Kinneil Railway in Scotland.
Weird our tea tastes different in a styrofoam cup, don't it?
It does, yeah. It's like
don't you drink in plastic?
The hilly road makes for slow going.
What was that? Yeah? What we're doing, speed-wise?
This is the bit I like, this bit here.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Edinburgh, 50 miles.
The Class 230 needs to be back on the rails in 4 hours' time. But the deeper into the Lothian hills they travel, the tighter and bumpier the roads become.
Hey, you all good on your back end? Yeah, you're all good. Don't you lift your neck for you?
Gav's truck has got stuck on a ridge in the road. There's not enough space between the trailer and the ground to move over the crest of the hill. If Gav keeps driving, he'll damage the trailer and could unbalance the heavy load. He needs to use the trailer's hydraulics to raise it up in order to clear the hill and drive safely on.
Hold it out, coming. Go on, mate.
Go on.
Yeah, it's lifted up now.
After a tight squeeze, they make it back onto the home straight to the Bowness and Kinneil Steam Railway. Bowness is a small town on the Firth of Forth.
We acquired this site in 1979, and all of this has been built by volunteers over the last 40 years. There was not a railway here. But the major thing that differentiates us from other railways is that we have the Museum of Scottish Railways. The range of locomotives that sit in our museum, I don't think you'll see that in any other major heritage railway.
The Bowness and Kinneil Railway may only be 5 miles in length, but it's exactly the kind of rural route that the electric Class 230 is designed to run on. This makes it the perfect location to showcase the new train.
I'll just go past it a little bit so you'll have to tip first, won't you?
Yeah.
Callum and Dave run up against their next big hurdle. They need to squeeze the 3-metre-wide trains through these gates to deliver them into the yard.
Bit of a tight turn going into the place. We'll have a go getting in.
Start following the trailer now, mate.
Take me right back to just past the Audi there, and I'll take a big sweep in. You get too sharp there on my neck, let me know.
Yeah, it's getting too sharp, mate. Just spin in the back of the trailer on the spot. Come back, I'll go on the grass. Keep it going. Just spinning on the spot again.
The gate sits at an angle to the road. This makes the approach very tight. The truck is at right angles to the trailer. When it moves backwards and forwards, the trailer pivots around a central axis and can't clear the gate. To solve the problem, Callum must reverse the truck, while Dave countersteers the trailer onto the grass. This should give them enough space to clear the awkward corner.
Go on, come back. Go on.
This will be one tight, final turn.
Go on, come back. I said drive up and then I would have reversed over onto the grass then. Would have been easier. No, literally, you're just not moving at all. Just spinning on the spot again.
Callum swallows his pride and lets Dave steer the trailer onto the grass.
Go on, it's moving now. Nice and steady, nice and steady. Yeah, go on, mate, keep going. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going, mate. Yeah, loads of room. Go on, get it in there. Yeah, go on, we're in now, mate.
It takes precision guidance to steer both trucks through the gate and into the yard. Final task? Unload both cars, guiding them back onto the rails to get them ready for tomorrow's big launch.
Take it steady. I was a bit worried about the front because the front's got a big snow pile, but I had to go 3 or 4 inches coming down there. Bang on.
You've got to push it 30 foot. Might be us done that one, then the next one in and get that off. So, loads of fun.
One car down, one to go. It takes skill and patience to line up both cars on the rails, without one running into the back of the other.
Well done.
Yeah, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Hold it at that a minute. Hold it at that.
It's not long before this pioneering train buzzes back into life.
Oh, there we go.
Bye-bye.
It's mission accomplished for Gav's team.
Bye-bye, train.
The revolutionary zero-emission electric Class 230 is up and running, ready for its big launch.
This launch is hugely important to us. We really need to get it out there and show that this technology works today.
Battery power has the potential to bring environmentally friendly technology to remote rural railway lines, where diesel engines would traditionally run. Hundreds turn out to experience the new Class 230. Zero-emission train travel gets the public thumbs up. 300 miles south, at the Severn Valley Railway in Kidderminster.
Oh, that's gone too far now.
The day has finally arrived for legendary steam locomotive Britannia to return to service. The plan is to ease the engine in gently by taking it for short runs along the 16-mile line. Today will be a huge draw for steam enthusiasts.
I love my job. Don't worry, hot water. It's only me.
The fire is lit and there's plenty of smoke. They're just waiting for the pressure in the boiler to build so it can produce steam.
Just giving it a bit of TLC, tidying it up, making it look presentable. I think there's going to be a few photographers knocking about.
This is a huge moment for Team Britannia.
Feeling quite nervous. This is where all the months of hard work come together and we find out if it's okay or not. So, touch wood, everything will be all right and we'll have a successful day.
The Severn Valley Railway was founded in 1965 by a group of young rail enthusiasts. They set out to restore the line between Kidderminster and Bridgnorth, which had been closed 2 years earlier. Today, the railway attracts nearly 200,000 visitors every year. eager to experience a forgotten age of travel.
The Severn Valley is one of the few preserved Great Western Railways that is actually able to really authentically portray the interwar period, because it has not just the original locomotives, signalling and stations, but it has the antiquated rolling stock that you can ride in as well. And I think that really sets itself apart from its counterparts.
After more than 2 years of careful restoration work, it's the moment of truth for Ian and the team.
Will she be ready for this departure?
I'm not entirely sure, actually. The boiler's nice and hot. Cian's just lighting the fire, so as soon as we get steam, we'll know in the next half hour.
They've replaced or refurbished almost every part of this locomotive, but have forgotten one crucial element.
Slight problem with the very old coal in the tender not burning. We're not producing steam at the moment.
They pump more air into the firebox to fuel the flames. Britannia is finally set to go.
Oh, please, baby, be okay.
The 68-year-old is rolling under its own steam once again. Ian and his team are looking, listening, and feeling for any indication that all is not well. But first signs are good.
Cian, we'll stop for a look round.
Okay, yeah.
We've got to wait for a charter train to come through, so we've got 15 minutes and the engineers are just going to have a look round now, make sure everything's fine. So far, so good. Fingers crossed, everything's nice and cool.
Britannia spends the rest of the day racking up 36 trouble-free miles.
The guys and myself are all extremely proud. Today's been very successful, and it's a huge relief that it's been successful. You know, we've just got a few teething problems to see through, but the ultimate goal is there of getting back on the main line at 75 miles an hour.